got a good question about graphs of exponential functions here, how you go about doing it, and how you go about graphing it. So, um, I think initially this had nothing on it, um, maybe just like a couple of points, but you have to select whether you're going to do a logarithmic graph or an exponential graph. And I see that the graph right here is exponential graph, right? There's no logs in it, so this is in the variables above a base. So this is an exponential graph, and the base function here, right, is just y is equal to 3 to the x power. Okay, which is what I've got graphed here, right? The asymptote would be the x-axis here. When x is 0, the whole function is just equal to 1, right? Because 3 to the 0 is just 1. And then if x was 1, the function would be equal to 3. Okay. Now this, of course, is not our function. We've got some transformations of this basic function that we want to take care of. So the first one being having the input of the function, right, multiplied by -1. What that always does is it flips it around the y-axis. So I'm pretty much going to have the asymptote's symmetrical around the y-axis, so nothing really happens there. It's still going to cross the y-axis in the same place, but now if I were to plug in a 1, right, I would get 1/3 instead of 3. And if I plugged in -1, I'd get 3, right? Because the opposite of -1 is just 1. So right now I've got the graph up of this. I'm building it up slow. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna work on the transformations of the output, right? The things that happen after the 3x gets applied, or here really the 3 to the -x, which is getting multiplied by 2 and then subtracted 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to handle the 2's closer, so I'm going to handle that first. Now, if I double all this stuff, right, what happens? It gets stretched away from the x-axis. So the 2 really would become, the 1 right here would really become 2, right? And the 3 that was there before would really become 6. Okay, the asymptote is not affected by this at all. Okay, it just gets stretched away from the x-axis. Really, the asymptote's on the x-axis, so if you scale anything that's 0 by 2, it still stays 0. Okay, so that at this point we now have, let's see, what color should I use now? We have our graph like that. Okay, now I just have left to incorporate the -4. Now, when you subtract 4 from the output, you just do, this is a vertical shift downwards of 4 units. So this is going to drag everything, right? I wonder if I can draw on here. Can I draw? No, I can't draw. I can't draw on the graph, but what I want to show is that the asymptote comes down to -4, right? 2 comes down to -2, and 6 comes down to 2. Okay, that just all those the asymptote and the 2 points just have come down 4 points. Okay, so this should give me the function that I'm actually looking for. Y is equal to 2 times 3 to the -x. Well, this is so hard. -x minus 4. Okay, so let's check it real quick. I hope that helps a little bit on this exponential graphing tool and how to transform those functions.